Hey everyone, I'm hopping on for some breaking news. Fixing that. I'm clearly in a different location, but I wanted to jump on because Diddy has been denied bail for the third time. I am not surprised. I knew this was going to happen. I mean, I hoped and I prayed it was going to happen. However, yesterday when the news broke that Diddy's lawyers were sending security to the Upper East Side to look at an apartment, I got a little nervous. So it's a good thing that this judge seemed to recognize that nothing was going to be secure enough for Diddy, and nothing was going to be safe enough here. So let me just pull up exactly what the judge stated in a recent article. I'm still digging for the filing. There is a 5-page filing out there, and I need to get my hands on it. Usually it comes out within a few hours, but this is what the judge said. Quote, "The court finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community." Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what everybody was saying this whole time. And I'm very, very glad that again that he recognized this. Hey Forrest, how are you? And yes, so yesterday Forbes had reported that this decision was going to be kicked back into next week. Clearly, the judge just wanted to get this off of his plate because it's Thanksgiving, whatever. But I wanted to also bring something up here. And I think this is going to be really interesting because I was on newspapers.com and I was doing some digging there. And I found something that was pretty interesting, some old articles, I guess. And I was specifically looking for anything pertaining to Diddy and J-Lo and Shyne back in the 90s. And I found some good stuff. So I'm going to share that with you guys. And you can tell me what you think about this. So let me just switch right here. And in the meantime, like I said, I'm still looking up these motions or this 5-page order that the judge issued while I go over this. I'm kind of doing it on my phone. But you can't really see this. I'll make it bigger. Hang on. Okay. So this article, it's from the year 2000. As you can see, it's September 17th, and it's about Diddy and J-Lo. But I thought it was really interesting, this one specific section. So it's talking about the shooting and what happened that fateful night in Manhattan. But this all, and I'm going to tie this all together. I will tie this into why Diddy should not get bail and just, I guess one of the hundreds of reasons. But police reports say that Barrow then fired several shots, injuring 3 clubgoers. And the defense for Combs says that they have 50 witnesses who did not see him with a gun. Combs, Jones, that's the security guard, and Jennifer Lopez took off in a Lincoln Navigator registered to Combs. Sorry, it's okay. I just totally got lost. Sorry about that. Registered to Combs. Yeah, and then they took off. Okay. The Bad Boy record label sped through 11 red lights before being stopped. Here's where it gets pretty good. Police reportedly, okay, if police found it and it's in a report, I don't think you need the word reportedly, but that's just me. Police reportedly found a 9mm revolver under the passenger seat and another allegedly Combs-related gun along the route, meaning he flung the gun out the window. According to the assistant district attorney, both Combs and Jones repeatedly approached the driver of the vehicle, now the cooperating witness, and asked him to take responsibility for the weapon. I mean, this is literally, it's right out here. This is where it gets good. Combs allegedly offered as collateral a $40,000 ring that he had been given as a gift by Jennifer Lopez. And then it says Combs now faces 2 felony gun possession offenses to which he has pleaded not guilty. And if convicted, he faces a possible 15-year sentence. Okay. Hey, Taryn, how are you? Oh, hey. Hey, Phil. I love when Phil's here. It's so fun. So I just let's talk about that for a second. It's stated here a witness actually admitted that Diddy offered him collateral to say that the gun wasn't his and it wasn't his security guards. Wow. So yeah, he's clearly been intimidating witnesses for the last 25 years. And I thought that was really interesting and really important to bring up here because it matters. This is, again, why he's not being granted parole. Thank you so much, Forrest. Oh my gosh. This was so nice of you. You are so generous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I thought you all should read this because this is also a newspaper, I think, in Australia. It's overseas. I mean, they really, they do good reporting though. So just going back to that article, it's really, really funny to me that the defense had up to 50 witnesses, they claim. And again, in my opinion, this just means that they were able to either allegedly pay these people off or allegedly intimidate them. Now, I want to go to another article that I found. Again, why Diddy should not be granted bail. Yes. Thank you again. You are the best. You really made I was going to say Friday night because it feels like a Friday night, but it's only Wednesday night. And I'm actually at my parents' house right now. Just really quick. I should, hey, Steve, I should show you guys. I don't think there's anything too embarrassing, but let me just look behind, just really quick. Let me look behind because this is my dad's office that I'm in. Oh, I found something embarrassing. Hold on. I mean, kind of embarrassing. Is that kind of embarrassing? Kind of. I think this is like a family picture from when I'm in like 10th grade or something. Who knows? Maybe not that embarrassing, whatever. Okay, so the next thing that I want to go over with you guys, why he should not get bail, is another article I found on newspapers.com here. All right, so this one goes back to J-Lo, and I had sent this over to Jack Fox just briefly. Like literally, I WhatsApped him, and I was just like, dude, this is a really interesting statement from J-Lo, but it's totally fluff, totally fluff. Let me see. And this appears to be a sympathy article for Diddy. And again, this one was written February of the year 2000. And this is amidst the trial, the arrest, everything that was going on with Shyne. So let's just switch this. All right. I just want to tell you, this is the first sentence of the article. And it makes me sick to my stomach a little bit. It says, no matter where you stand on gangster rap and the business of firing guns in crowded nightclubs, it's hard not to feel at least a twinge of sympathy when a young go-getter like Sean Puff Daddy Combs sees everything he has worked for start to crumble. Yeah. That's what the article says. This is literally after he was caught with a gun, literally bribing other people to say that it was their gun. And yeah, he was charged with a felony. I mean, yeah, let's all feel really bad for him. Let's feel horrible for him. So I think this is so interesting that the media really seemed to sympathize with him and feel bad for him when this happened in 1999 into the year 2000. He really made people believe that he wasn't responsible and that it was Shyne. And I think we've discussed this before. The fact that J-Lo was there, and there have been rumors and reports that she hid the gun in her purse, one of Diddy's guns, but she wasn't even called as a witness for anybody, which I think is crazy. Not for the state and not for the defense. She just managed to stay out of this. So that's kind of interesting to me. And then I want to get to the part where J-Lo seems to have these really strong feelings about Diddy and how she is very loyal to him. So let me just pull this up because like I said, I sent it to Jack Fox. So this is what J-Lo said about Diddy. And this is right around the time that they were about to go to trial. It said, or the article said, did J-Lo think of leaving Combs because of what happened? And she said, quote, "It was just the way it was. It was definitely a difficult time, but whatever happens between us is not going to be because of it, because of some incident that happened. I'm just not the type of person who would do that type of thing. I could never see myself with somebody going through a hard time and be like, I'm out of here. That's so ridiculous to me. I just wouldn't respect anybody who did that." And then she goes on to say, "I believe in loyalty. My parents taught me that. There's something to being loyal to the people you love. It means something. It affords something at the end of the day, and it builds something that is priceless." So just quickly, Jack Fox, I sent this to him, and he was like, oh my gosh, where do I even start? Multiple uses of the word just is a crazy red flag. Just. And then he said that the fact that she brings up loyalty, that means something bad happened, right? I mean, that's kind of like, duh. Going back to the chat. Hi, Simi. Hi, Sue. Hi, everybody who's here and joining now, joining late. I'm so happy that Phil and Steve are here. Doesn't it feel like a Friday night? I think it's because obviously no one's working tomorrow. Oh, wait, except for people that are overseas. You guys, I don't think you celebrate Thanksgiving. Let me go and keep looking for some of these filings from the judge. But there's also a really good video I want you guys to see for a second. This is so good. This is an Ellen and a Diddy video. I was going to make it into a short, but I really, really enjoyed it. There's a couple things that really stuck out to me as major red flags. Oh, you did have, okay, just kidding. I'm silly. I know a lot about other communities and other cultures, okay? No, I'm just kidding. I'm getting better. I should be more aware. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Let me share this, you guys. And if you know me, you know I like to play things the way I talk in pretty much 1.5. But I'll slow it down to 1.25 because you gotta see this. This is a great clip where he gives himself away, and there's some other things that I want you guys to see. So, thank you, Simi. All right, I won't make it too fast. So if it's too fast, you guys tell me.
You turned me on to Twitter. I knew nothing about Twitter, and now it is so much fun. I'm playing so many games, and I get to give things away and help people out.
You get to connect to the people. You get to make sure that they know that you care about them, and us also you get to hear how they feeling about certain situations, and you get the news quicker than the news gives it to you.
Yeah, no, it's great. Okay. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seen the show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though. It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 2, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. No, I mean, the after party.
No, I know about them. I'll listen to the music. I've heard that song, After Party. But that was at the Holiday Inn, I think.
Okay,
All
you're
right,
not.
so-
You guys
and
aren't
how old are
funny.
your kids now? How many kids do you have?
I have 6.
6. And how old are they now? Well, you you seem youthful. That's why they're
I'm
like,
youthful.
oh, yeah.
Okay, really quick. I'm just going to stop this because believe it or not, this wasn't even the part that I wanted you guys to see. That was kind of the obvious part where he's talking about his parties. And of course, we've seen all these videos where he gives it away and he basically says that, yeah, my parties don't start until, yeah, they go till 3 a.m. And then basically after 3 a.m. is when the after party starts. So, but again, this is not even the point of the video. That's just an added bonus of him being an idiot per usual. All right. Now just pay attention to this part because it might not seem right off the bat like it's a big deal, but it's just wait. I'll explain.
And I'm fertile.
Sorry.
So, and your twins are here, right?
Yeah, twins are here. They're in the back.
They're 3 years old. Is that right?
No, they're going to be 3.
They're going to be 3.
Yes.
Little girls.
Yes, little girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to be 3 in December.
Are they spoiled rotten?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Are you strict? Do you let, because obviously you can give them anything they want. Do you make them realize that everything is not readily available?
No, I really haven't gotten to that part.
Mm-hmm. With the other kids though, like do you?
Oh yeah. No, that's not really the role that I play.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest.
You're not strict.
Nope.
No. Do you?
I just want to love them. I just want to just give them everything that I can give them.
Now, when you're at home, because see, I have this certain image of you, because I know you get driven around, because I watch TV. I see what happens.
Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute because for whatever reason, maybe it's because I'm a mother. I'm married. My husband is a good father. Diddy didn't come from wealth and privilege here. And I found it really concerning the way, Ellen's asking him about his kids and, if they're spoiled, and sure, it's all a joke, whatever. But he really was so disconnected and so just okay with being like, no, it's not my job to teach them values, basically. It's not your job. I'm sorry. You really don't give a shit about whether or not your kids have any values. That's not your job. Your job is just to love them. I'm sorry. That's really not what being a parent is. And I think most parents would agree with that. You literally don't have kids just to love them, quote unquote. Of course you love them. That goes without saying. I feel like anyone in statement or deception or the statement analysis would pick up on that. Like, you don't have to tell us that you love your kids. It's like when someone's, giving their version of an alibi. Oh yeah, well, we were on the phone or I was on the phone with my mom and then I said, I love you. And then I hung up. No, we don't need to hear that. We're going to assume, sure, you said you love each other, whatever. We don't care. But yeah, I thought this was a really, really huge red flag that he was just so nonchalant about this, just didn't care to even pretend that he is the one that raises his children and instills values in them. So I think that speaks volumes, at least in my opinion. And his son, Christian Combs, has his own trouble right now. He has his own lawsuit. So just putting it out there. I will continue with this clip. I will finish it. It's quick, and it's also, like I said, there's a few other things I think that you could pick up on.
Do you drive yourself ever?
Yes, I do drive myself sometimes.
You do?
Yes.
Do you do housework? Like, do you do dishes? Do you make your bed? Like, if you take a shirt off and you go, that's not what I'm going to, do you fold it back or do you hang it back up?
I got a problem with that. I just, for some reason, I have a problem with dropping things on the floor.
You just drop it on the floor?
Yeah.
See, but I do feel like you may not do that. You're neat though, right? I would imagine your closet is color coordinated. Everything is hung in a certain,
yes,
right? So you're neat. It's just that you're not the person that puts it back. All right. All right. And now the vodka line.
Yeah.
How many more things? Well, last time you were here, you had the vodka, so that's not a new thing. It's doing very well, right?
Yes, doing very well. Ciroc vodka is up like 1,000%.
It's fantastic.
It's the smoothest vodka in the world.
Because it's not made of, it's made from grapes, not potatoes.
Yeah, what would you rather drink? Grapes or
Up
potatoes?
1,000%.
I don't care. I'll drink anything. But
Doesn't even make sense.
now wait. How in the world did they find out they could make vodka from grapes?
It's the way they distill it. Yes, it's made, and it comes from France.
Okay.
So they're French grapes.
So there's
and now there's new flavors. Last time I didn't have these flavors, and so we're about to approach the holiday season, and so we have coconut. And
they're very vocal. They respond to everything. And which one is this one?
This is red berry.
Oh, I like a berry. Let me see. Can you open that for me?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah. Take a swig.
This is so gross and icky to watch. These both are gross together, in my opinion.
I really enjoy it.
One of the things that you must do now, before you leave work, you must not drive. You must drink responsibly.
I do drink responsibly.
Okay.
I will not drive.
Okay.
I'm not driving.
Okay. Didn't that make you feel so icky at the end of that? That just made me feel super, super gross. I cannot explain it. I want to go over to Variety. They actually have a different report about him being denied bail. And yes, that whole thing was super cringe. I find myself actually before I go to bed, whatever. I do a lot of things on my phone before bed, but I like to go through these old Ellen clips where, and specifically the ones between her and Diddy. And it's just like the back and forth between them is so bizarre. And I feel like they are good friends. I know that there are reports that they're not, just because they're seen in some photos together. And I think that's the case for other celebrities. They're seen in some photos. Of course, you can take a picture with someone who's not necessarily your good friend if you're at an event, whatever. But this definitely seems different. So let me just go down here because I thought that this was really interesting. This quote from one of the prosecutors about Diddy, what she said about the defense attorneys, and I believe it to be true. She said, at the hearing last week, Assistant U.S. Attorney Christine Slavic had said that Combs, quote, cannot and will not follow the rules and, quote, cannot be trusted. But she also claimed that counsel was not able to control their client, which I think is 100% true. They are not able to control him, hence the issue with the legal pads, him just writing legal on them and claiming that everything taken in his jail cell was privileged. I don't think his attorneys, now knowing what we know about what went down, I don't think his attorneys really knew what was going on, what he had written, if he was in fact intimidating a witness or figuring out how to pay off Kalena Harper. I just don't think they knew about it. And I think they wanted to trust him because, they don't really have a choice. They're in a hard place. They've got to do their job. So I thought that was super interesting that even the U.S. Attorney's Office is like, yeah, you can't even control your client. So you need to really get a handle on that. And yeah, so everything about this is just completely cringy. I'm going to check one more time for those, the filings. I'll check actually on Scribd. Usually they have them on Scribd, but I really want to get this. Like, I really want to get, the filings are so interesting. And this one's only 5 pages. Let's see. If anyone else finds it before me, let me know. No, that's the detention memo, which also was one of the best things I've seen in a long time from the U.S. Attorney's Office that was put out in September. The whole thing about how dangerous he was. And yeah, everything was incredibly eye-opening. Yeah, there's nothing right now, but what I can do really quick is go back to, I can go back to newspapers.com is one of my favorite things to do research on. if you guys don't have an account, you really need one. It's so helpful. I found pictures of the Menendez brothers in tennis tournaments from the 90s. It's pretty incredible. But no, this is where all of my J-Lo quotes are coming from about Diddy in the early 2000s and the end of the 90s and the whole Shyne thing. So just going back to this really fast. Basically, this was the Diddy sympathy article where they said that they felt really bad for him. And what is this? It's called The Age. It's in Melbourne, Australia. So yeah, overseas, they really sympathized with him after he got arrested in 1999. And this is what he said. This is a really good quote. Diddy said, quote, "I am the living, breathing proof of the American dream. I have made myself the coolest, flashiest, richest Black man in New York. I say this with deference, but my goal has always been to be the Black Sinatra, and I feel I have achieved that status and respect." Wow. That is really, really interesting. He called himself out, the Black Sinatra. That's alarming. Frank Sinatra is a legend, and he was very classy. And Frank Sinatra had his issues, though. I mean, he had some problems, but I don't know. Diddy can't sing. Have you guys heard Diddy sing? He's not a good singer. He was a good rapper. I will give him that, and he was a great producer, but I don't think he could sing. So anyway, that's interesting. But also, it shows you how narcissistic he is. I guess I think that the average person is not going to, I don't know. I just feel like it takes a special person to compare themselves to somebody that is considered to be such a legend. I'm more self-deprecating. I would never compliment myself. I'm also told to be nicer to myself. I'll admit that. But I can't imagine sitting there and being like, yeah, I really want to compare myself to, so-and-so who's basically an A-lister and whoever. It's crazy that you have that type of confidence to do this. And I think that also goes back to why he is continually asking for bail and really seems like nothing's wrong. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw in the last hearing he had, he was blowing his family kisses. He was in really good spirits. Like this is not affecting him at all in the least. So yeah, really, really interesting. Going back to this is good. It says it's talking about how Diddy is living large. And it says, there is his fleet of color-coordinated Bentleys, more often than not with his girlfriend Jennifer Lopez installed as a near-permanent accessory in the back seat. Fergie hosted his birthday party, where a guest list heavy with celebrities made the gathering seem like a warm-up for the Academy Awards. As supermodels wiggled on the dance floor, Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes, and Matt Damon traded gossip with Danny DeVito and Robert De Niro. Harvey Keitel stopped by to hear Donald Trump chatter about his presidential ambitions. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. This is the year 2000. That's crazy. Whoa, weird. Oprah Winfrey made amends for being stuck in Chicago by sending a basket of fruit that was larger than the little chap who delivered it. That's so awkward. Then there were the ponies that carried the corporate colors of Combs' Bad Boy record label at last year's glitzy Southampton Polo Classic on Long Island, where he held court in a tent with its own waterfall and fountain. Wow, that's extravagant. The organizers were reportedly nervous that Puff would populate the Blue Blood event with jive-talking homeboys. Oh my God. This is so politically incorrect. Is it the time, or is it just Australia as a whole being incredibly politically incorrect? This is really awkward to read. Did they really say jive-talking homeboys? Yes, they did. They did. So they were nervous about this. As it happened, they had nothing to worry about. Instead of rappers in their baggy pants and baseball caps, Puff parked his hardcore Harlem crew in the big bad city and brought a busload of beauties to charm the uptight white folks. And then he said, quote, I am the, this is weird. I don't want to read this. He said, here, I don't know. I feel like somebody could take this out of context if I read it or something. I don't know. But there you go. He said that. And then he said, I have arrived. Oh, and I'm never, ever going home. Well, I don't know if you're going home per se, or you're never going home, but you are probably going somewhere. You're probably going to the federal penitentiary for a long, long time. But yeah, wow, that's really, really interesting. And this article is so cringy to read. Oh my gosh, sorry, you guys. And it says, for a man who had lost best friend and fellow rapper, the Notorious B.I.G., to a drive-by assassin, it was a boast that displayed no deference to history. For if there was one thing Puff should have learned on his way up, it was that a few grams of flying lead can change everything. That was certainly what happened late on Boxing Day at Club New York on West 43rd Street. The incident also marked the start of what is turning out to be a highly instructive New York story from the fecklessness of fair weather fans. Sorry, I can't say that. To the lesson it contains and how not to dispose of an unwanted pistol. Yeah. So this is where it gets into Shyne and J-Lo and everything that happened with the bodyguard that night. But I'm just not over that. He's been intimidating people for a really long time. And the point was here of this whole live is that we should not be surprised that he was denied bail again. I think I was just nervous because the fact that the lawyers had sent security out to even look at an apartment in the first place kind of indicated or hinted to me that they thought there was a chance. And I was just kind of like, where are they getting this from? Why do they think there's a chance? And thank goodness there isn't. But yeah, I mean, I can go on with this article, but it's pretty much, okay. So this is interesting. In 2000, his estimated worth was $500 million. It says it's probably an exaggeration by at least a factor of 5. But the club bouncers knew that whatever his worth, he would not be paying the $20 admission. Okay. That's interesting. And then it talks about how in the club, the mood was relaxed. Combs and J-Lo canoodled, that's the best word, in a booth, while those of his underlings not invited to share the hospitality of the high table cruised the bar. And then slowly but surely, it turned toxic. When a couple of guys started giving his bodyguard a hard time. Are you familiar with this story as to what happened at the club? If you're not, this could be interesting for you. There was an eruption of cursing and some pushing and a punch that failed to hit home. The club security people calmed the waters, extracting pledges that there would be no more unpleasantness, but there was more to come, quite a lot of it. When Combs and his friends swept past the lesser mortals, waiting in the winter cold to be admitted, he perhaps interpreted their glares as mere jealousy. It was more like resentment, and inside the club, that same emotion was a palpable presence. According to leaks from the grand jury that investigated the subsequent shooting, a woman confronted Lopez in the bathroom and called her a hoe. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's really interesting. Also, like, who cares? Who cares what you're called? I don't get it. Wow. So a little later, a champagne cork from Combs's table hit somebody who took it as a personal. Oh my gosh. This is so crazy. There were more angry words, and at this time, there was a punch that connected. But the crowning insult came as a huffy puff led Lopez and the gang toward the exit. A young guy, black, like about half the crowd, this is insane. The way this is written is so insane to me. Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly, Laura. Oh no, not a hoe. She wasn't called a hoe. Yeah, that's so horrible. Like, really? Also, she kind of is. I'm sorry. Like, it's J-Lo. I think everybody, and I don't even want to say allegedly, I guess I could say it's my opinion, but she is. Like, I think that's just a known descriptive word for her. It's not the nicest word, but I mean, yeah, it looks like a duck. Okay, so a young guy, black, like half the crowd, thank you for pointing that out, flung a handful of dollars in Combs's face. Witnesses give differing accounts, but the gist of the money thrower's comments is that he shouted something like, "See this money, Puffy? You're not the only one around here who's got some cash." And that, as they say, was it. According to police, the rapper Shyne produced a 9mm automatic to defend his mentor's honor. There were 3 quick shots, followed by a stampede, followed by a trio of clubgoers writhing on the dance floor that was littered with glasses, lost shoes, and the odd discarded handbag. That was J-Lo's handbag, which allegedly had a gun inside it. If you don't count the woman who had the tip of her nose blown off, none of the wounded qualified as seriously injured. Okay, this is the craziest written article I've ever seen. This person is being dead serious. If you don't include the woman whose nose blown off or was blown off, like, this wasn't really serious. No one got hurt. Do you hear yourself? I mean, she literally lost a piece of her face and they're claiming that it's not serious. Okay. I think I should write to this author. I'm not going to blast this person. I don't want to be rude or anything, but this is so bad. Also, again, it's 20 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever. But let's go back for a second. They want us to believe that somebody threw money in Diddy's face. He knowingly carries a gun. He carries a weapon. And they want us to believe that Diddy did not brandish his firearm. Yeah, I was born at night, but not last night. But you like that one? Sorry, that was horrible. Okay, let's go back to this. You know what? I'm different at night, you guys. I think I just realized that. I think I'm looser at night for these lives. I find myself cracking more jokes and being a little less serious. Okay, so let's go back to that. If you don't count the woman who had the tip of her nose blown off, none of the wounded qualified as seriously injured. Puff and his people did not linger to administer first aid. I'm not surprised. Piling into the 4WD with such haste that half his party was left behind. That's so rude. I mean, that is another thing in itself. That just shows you, if you want to talk about loyalty, he has zero loyalty. He just leaves his crew behind. I mean, what kind of person does that? Just like, really, you're all in trouble and you're going to leave your friends behind when it probably would take one other second for you to let them in the car. Also, you're going to get caught. Everybody knows who you are. You're a high profile guy. I mean, please, dude, please. So he doesn't wait for his friends. There was a screeching. Oh, no, sorry, I skipped a part. It says, he sped down the block and past the New York Times, which profiled him as an avatar of urban cool. There was a screeching, wheels in the air turn onto 8th Avenue, where Combs's driver shot 7 red lights in a row. Oh my gosh. At 48th Street, a 9mm came sailing out the window. Normally, it would have been slipped quietly into the pocket of whoever found it. A weapon like that can fetch around $600 on the black market, which is the equivalent of finding a big fat wallet. Man, this guy is really good writer. Really good writer. Oh no. Oh no. The article ends. I don't have the rest of it. That's such a bummer. But I did already go through this with the last article where we know what happens. He offered somebody the $40,000 ring that J-Lo gifted him to say that the gun was theirs. So again, just going back, that Diddy has been intimidating witnesses for the last 25 years. So it's no different right now. This is really, really crazy stuff, really crazy. And it's so crazy that he was facing 15 years, in the year 2000, and he walked away. Poor Shyne. I mean, 8.5 years. And I got to say, he's turned his life around. He has done amazing things. And he's, everything. I hate to be cliche, but Shyne has even said this, and his mom has said this as well. I saw it on the Tamron Hall show, which I think I played during a live stream. But he's in a better place now, just with everything in his life. He's a congressman, a politician in Belize, and he just seems like a really incredibly strong person. So I think my plan tonight is actually to watch that documentary on Hulu, The Honorable Shyne. And oh yeah, Diddy sent him a cease and desist over this because he basically says that he was set up and that Diddy did in fact intimidate witnesses and that he has proof. So I think that's really interesting. And really quickly, just one last time, I'm going to try to find the 5-page order from the judge. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, let me see. So for me, my go-to, by the way, I don't know about you guys, but my go-to here for a lot of this is deadline.com. They do an amazing job of including some of the filings on their website with these articles. So let me switch here really quick. Oh, and they do really good. I really like this Photoshop. Really good Photoshop job right there with Diddy and the bars behind him. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see. Do they have it? Oh, yes. Got it. Yes. Okay. Here is the order. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Yes. It was filed today. Today's the 27th, right? Okay. Here we go. I'm so happy. I knew deadline was good. Okay. Let's get into this. I will make this bigger for you guys right now, and I will read this here. Okay. No condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. The court has evaluated each of the factors it must consider, weight of the evidence against the person, nature and circumstances of the offense charged, history and characteristics of the person, and nature and seriousness of the danger that would be posed by the person's release. Yeah. That's all a big deal. The court has also reviewed the information submitted by Combs and the government across all 3 bail hearings. In this case, the court finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. In support of this finding, the court provides the following reasons. A rebuttable presumption of detention applies to this case. Even if Combs successfully rebuts this presumption, which the court assumes here, it remains one of the factors that the court considers in determining whether the government has met its burden of persuasion. Case law. The indictment charges Combs with serious and violent crimes. This is what we talked about yesterday in the live. These are very serious crimes. They're really violent. It alleges that for decades, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. It says that Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others. Yes, he did, including victims and witnesses to his abuse, and notes that during searches of Combs's residence in March of 2024, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunitions, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened, the indictment alleges he and members of his enterprise engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence included kidnappings and arson. And again, he's going back to, let's be real, Kid Cudi. He's going to be testifying. I know it. He has to be. And we talked about this. He is not like Mike Jeffries of Abercrombie. He has weapons. He uses them. This is really serious. This is not, I mean, obviously sex trafficking is horrific. It's incredibly serious. But when you add the violence on top of it, I mean, it's a done deal, in my opinion. You're not getting out before your trial. Okay. The government has presented direct evidence of Combs' violence. Yes, they have. This includes video footage. Yep. Text messages. Oh, okay. This goes back to, oh, this is sad, to Cassie's text, which said, I have a black eye and a fat lip. You are sick for thinking it's okay to do what you've done. I still have crazy bruising. And then they redact some things that she said. That's interesting. Nevertheless, Combs argues that the weight of evidence does not support a charge of sex trafficking. In his view, it supports at best a toxic, sometimes violent, long-term relationship between Combs and victim one, who's Cassie. But regardless of whether that's true, there's compelling evidence of Combs' propensity for violence. Yes, obviously, requiring the court to consider the history and characteristics of this person. There is evidence supporting a serious risk of witness tampering. For example, Combs initiated and had unexplained communications with witness one, who was subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury in June of 2024, and in fact testified on July 25th, 2024. Combs was represented by counsel during this time. And they have offered an explanation for some of these communications, but even they could not explain them all. For example, this is good. For example, Combs' efforts to call and text witness one even after the grand jury testimony, or Combs' deleted text with this witness. Why? Although the phone records confirm that the defendant, using a particular phone number, and witness one exchanged multiple text messages from June of 2024 through August of 2024, there were no such messages recovered from Combs' cell phone associated with that number. Yeah, that's really, really sketchy. Really sketchy. I mean, what? And it's so crazy to me that even his attorneys cannot explain all of these communications. That is a huge red flag. I mean, yeah. Ooh, this is good. This filing is really good. All right. So further, Combs' interactions with witness one are directly in conflict with defense's counsel representations to Judge Carter on September 18th, 2024, that Combs did not reach out to a grand jury witness, and he said he didn't do it and he wouldn't do it. That is horrible. And I'm not blaming his lawyer for this. I believe his lawyer was doing their job. And again, there's going back to what the prosecutor said, that they cannot control their client. Clearly, this is a huge example of that. They're not controlling their client. He's lying and he's making them look bad in the meantime. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Wait, Simi, thank you so much for saying that. That was really nice of you. I appreciate you. Okay, so going back, there is evidence that Combs violated Bureau of Prisons regulations during his pretrial detention to obscure his communications with third parties. He paid other inmates to use their phone access code. Wow, I didn't know that was confirmed, that he paid them, but this sounds like it's confirmed. He paid them to use their PAC numbers to make calls to those not on his approved contact list, and instructed family members and defense counsel to add other people to three-way calls so that their communications were more difficult to trace, and used a messaging program called Contact Me ASAP Although the court recognizes that the parties dispute whether Contact Me ASAP is permitted or not, the government gives examples of Combs's communications utilizing these means from as recently as November 4th, 2024, directed to efforts to influence the jury pool or reach out to potential witnesses. The court makes no determination that the content of Combs's communications through these channels was improper. However, his willingness to skirt these rules in a way that would make it more difficult for his communications to be monitored is strong evidence that the court cannot be reasonably assured as to the sufficiency of any conditions of release. So I think, I think that right there says a lot. They're essentially saying that we don't know exactly what was being said on a lot of these calls, but what we do know is that the way he's going about trying to talk to other people is incredibly suspicious, and it's just not protocol. It's not what we do here. So it makes you look suspect, Diddy. And, I've been thinking about this stuff, and I think one thing I think about, and I think a lot of us probably think about here, is, are these people, are they stupid? Don't they know everything's being monitored? You're going to get caught. They're watching you like a hawk. They're watching you every second here. And I think possibly in Diddy's mind that whatever he's doing is better than what could possibly come out, or whatever he's doing behind bars that's not okay and that's not necessarily playing by the rules. I think maybe he's willing to forego this punishment, and yeah, he'll try for bail, he'll keep trying, but I think maybe he thinks that if he's able to get to these people somehow, it will really, really benefit him, and that in the end it won't matter how he got there or how he got this information to either go in his favor or whatever it might be. I think that is sort of like the risk versus reward type of thing that might be going through his head right now, because I don't see any other rationale for him acting so stupid knowing that he's being watched like a hawk here. So I think that's just, I don't know what you guys think, but that's sort of what I'm thinking here, because it just is so stupid. They're watching you. Let me make this bigger for you guys. Sorry. So you can read along. Okay. The court further notes that it held an emergency hearing. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for. On November 19th, 2024, to address the government's usage of notes on legal pads recovered from Combs's bunk during a sweep of the MDC. At that hearing, defense counsel advised, all these legal pads say legal. Yes, they're marked as legal. After the hearing, the court inquired why, in light of counsel's representation that the notes at issue were on the legal pads that were clearly marked as legal, photographs taken during the sweep show no such labels. At the November 22nd, 2024 hearing, defense counsel admitted that it has to be the case that as of the day of the search, legal wasn't written on every legal pad, and they were not sure whether the pad presented to the court had legal on it at the time of the sweep. So just really quickly, they're saying that those legal pads were really misrepresented here. I mean, they definitely, again, the defense did their best with what they're working with. Clearly a very dishonest human who doesn't have any morals. Again, my opinion, but yeah, that just is so telling. The circumstances of this incident and the misrepresentation made at the November 19th, 2024 hearing where Combs was present bear on whether the court can be reasonably assured that any conditions it imposes will be followed, or whether through inadvertence or active subversion, they will be broken and the community's safety threatened. So that actually makes me wonder if he'll go back, the judge will go back on the ruling that nothing found during that sweep would be admissible in the case. I hope that he goes back on that, because I do think there is some serious information about some of the witnesses that he's allegedly intimidating. And if they're able to get to the bottom of that, I really feel like they can add a charge here, possibly. Let me just finish this. It's almost, yeah, we're almost through it. The court assumes that it may consider the bail package that Combs has proposed, but see the certain case law. We now expressly hold that the Bail Reform Act does not permit a two-tiered bail system in which defendants of a lesser means are detained pending trial, while wealthy defendants are released to self-funded private jails. Ooh, they're saying, yeah, you're not getting special privileges because you're loaded. However, given the nature of the allegations in this case and the information provided by the government, the court doubts the sufficiency of any conditions that place trust in Combs and individuals in, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, we've gone through this already. The court observed that the pretrial services reached the same conclusion, noting at the November 22nd hearing that the conditions are insufficient and there are no conditions that could reasonably assure the safety of community. The facts and circumstances here differ from those in Combs' principal cited authorities. They go into some more case law. And then lastly, it says Combs' motion for temporary release is denied. The court also finds that Combs has not shown that a temporary release from detention is warranted. Under this provision, a judicial officer may permit the temporary release of this person in the custody of a United States Marshal or other appropriate persons to the extent that the judicial officer determines such a release be necessary for the preparation of the person's defense, or another compelling reason. Combs' application is based on the conditions of MDC. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. He's literally basing it on the conditions at MDC. Yo, it's jail. What do you want? Like, but no, he actually says they make trial preparation impossible. Why? I mean, what do you need? You get a room with your lawyer and a pad of paper, and I mean, it sucks, but that's it. I mean, that's what you get. Given Combs' access to counsel and documents, there was an issue with Combs receiving a laptop for the purposes of reviewing discovery. I mean, just give him hard paper. But the court addressed that. The firm deadline for the government's discovery, which is the end of this year, and the time left before trial, over 5 months, Combs has not carried his burden of demonstrating that release from detention is necessary for trial preparation purposes under the Constitution. But the court will promptly address any issues that arises with respect to his trial preparation. And if the circumstances materially change, he may renew his application under blah, blah, blah. The motion is denied. The clerk of the court, blah, 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 blah. Wow. This is interesting. He's basically like, no, I don't like it here. I don't like it here at all. The conditions are awful. So I want bail. Oh, and I don't have a computer. I mean, again, his attorney should be printing this stuff for him. Yeah, I think for me, it's the world's tiniest violin. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm really not. I just don't think that, I don't think this is a thing. So he will stay put and everybody can sleep a little bit better tonight. So is anybody going out for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving? Anyone? We know Diddy isn't, obviously. I'm at my parents' house. My family is downstairs and we're gonna relax tomorrow and hopefully have a great day. I hope everyone else is going to have a great day with your family. And if the holidays are hard for any of you, I'm also, I'll be thinking of you. You can always shoot me a message. I'll try to give you some words of encouragement or words of understanding, or I'll just, tell you to suck it up if you need some tough love as well. Just kidding. But all right, I'm glad that I had a chance to go live. Oh, Simi, where are you going? Are you going to family that you're driving an hour? Yeah, exactly, Forrest. This is so true. So true. Yeah, we left last night and it took a long time to go from New York City to New Hampshire. There was so much traffic. It was so annoying. But anyway, thanks guys for listening. You know, I'm thinking about doing some more lives going over cases, just certain cases. I talked about this case today a little bit on Twitter, and I posted an article on my Pop Crime TV website. I'll actually put it in here for you guys right now. It's actually this horrific abuse scandal in my hometown, or basically I'm from Bedford, New Hampshire, but Manchester is right on the cusp. I went to high school there. But this one scandal is one of the literally the worst things I've ever seen. There's a detention center and it's called YDC, but it's called Youth Development Center. There is this abuse scandal, and it's been going on for the last decade. And the first person that was accused of some horrific things at this center just was convicted this past week. He'll be sentenced in January, but my dad actually was like, "Oh, he went to my high school. I can't believe he did this." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." But let me show you guys the article. It's like I said, it's horrific. If you have a chance to read it, but the next trial for one of these horrible guys that have been accused of awful crimes, awful, is happening in January, and the first trial, not of the guy from last week, but it was a hung jury and a mistrial, because it's a weird case. A lot of these, I don't want to call them guards, they call them leaders. They were just involved in abusing these mainly boys, but there's some girls at the detention center. I don't want to say it on YouTube because I will get censored, but one of the boys was actually awarded this historic settlement of $38 million. And they're not sure if he's going to get that much money, but I hope he does. I mean, that's kind of impossible for taxpayers here, but he should get in the millions. The state is trying to say he's only deserving of $475K, which is a huge slap in the face. But yeah, read about that. I might do a show on that or something, but it's hard. It's hard to talk about. And the fact is, like, I drove by that place all the time in high school, and I just never would have imagined that the atrocities were going on there. And I also, in the article I wrote, I linked out one of the guy's lawsuits that was just, it was horrible. I will have nightmares from it. And yeah, but anyway, all right. Well, I am going to go hang out with my family now. So everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining me. And I will, and like and subscribe to this channel if you don't already. I would love to have you. So, all right. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.